Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. As always, I am Jonathan. I am your host here for this episode of QuickBird Gaming News. Thank you for joining me for another video. I really do appreciate that. So today's video of QuickBird News, where we're going to cover 7 days of gaming news in less than 7 minutes, is for the week of Sunday, 17 November to Saturday, 23 November. And since I'm on the clock, let's get into it. First up is this article from IGN published on Wednesday, 20 November. And the headline reads, Fromsoftware parent Katakawa confirms Sony's buyout intent, but insists no decision has been made at this time. The long and short of this article is that Sony has expressed the intent to buy out Katakawa, and they're in ongoing talks, so we'll see what happens. Obviously, Fromsoftware is the developer, which brought us hits like Elden Ring and Sekiro, and did the development work on the series Bloodborne on Sony and the Dark Souls series over on Bandai Namco. And Katakawa owns about 70% of the controlling interest in Fromsoftware. So if they were bought out, Fromsoftware would fall under the Sony umbrella. On a side note, Katakawa has also got a lot of anime IPs under their umbrella. And with Sony controlling Crunchyroll, that could make them a major player in the anime market as well. Now, I think with this, Sony is actually looking for kind of a win this year. Right where, down at the bottom of the article, right where I've highlighted, you can see that Sony's taken some hits. Back in February, they had to lay off about 900 people, including from studios like Naughty Dog and Guerrilla, the developers for The Last of Us and the Horizon series, respectively. And obviously, they were involved in the Concord debacle. Sony purchased Firewalk Studios for hundreds of millions of dollars, and Concord utterly flopped. Now, I don't think Sony is in danger of going out of business anytime soon, but this would be a major feather in their cap to get Fromsoftware in their stable. My gut reaction to this is I wasn't a fan. I don't like how Sony is trying to force PlayStation Network accounts on single-player games on the PC. But whether I like it or not, this may happen. So this just bears watching, and we will see what develops. Next up is this article from Game Rant published on Friday, 22nd November. It reads, Stalker 2, The Heart of Chernobyl reaches big sales milestone. And right at the top of the headline, right at the top of the article, rather, you can see that Stalker 2 has sold over 1 million copies in less than 48 hours, which is pretty impressive. Considering all the things that this game has gone through with the multiple delays, with the developers having to relocate due to the conflict between Ukraine and Russia, the fact that they were able to finish this and get it out and then instantly sell 1 million copies is a pretty Herculean achievement. So congratulations to them for that. Now, it hasn't been a perfectly smooth launch. A lot of players have been put off by bugs and glitches. There is a certain amount of bugginess to the game, and whether or not you think it's worth playing with the bugs because it's a compelling story or not because it's not a complete product is an individual decision, and either way is fine. The devs of Stalker 2 seem to be very aware of it and are leaning forward to try and fix things. They are confirming that the A-Life 2.0 is in the game. It's just not working right. A-Life being the system in the Stalker franchise where the NPCs and the mobs continue to move around and do things and interact with the environment absent the player's presence. So you can come back and see that things have progressed while you weren't there. They say it's there. It's just not working. I would say the majority of players seem to be on board with the way this is going. As I'm making this video on Saturday night, at Mountain Time, it's still logging in about 65, 70,000 players. It hit a peak on Steam at 120, plus whatever they're doing on console. And like I said, they sold 1 million copies. So best of luck to them. Seems like a pretty successful launch, and I wish them luck going forward. Next up is this article from GameSpot published on Thursday, November 21st. The headline reads, Steam outlines major changes to its Season Pass and DLC rules. Now, essentially, as you read down through this, what Valve is saying is that for publishers to sell season passes and DLCs through Steam, they have to provide a description for each DLC, a launch window that they can't only change minimally, and basically they are saying that because the publishers is selling a season pass, they are promising future content, and Valve is going to protect the customers, the users, by refunding those DLCs if the publishers fail to meet their stated guidelines. So this to me seems like a pretty consumer-friendly and player-friendly process on Steam's behalf. I do not know how the publishers are going to react to it. It's going to make it more restrictive for them. It may mean fewer DLCs and season passes being offered on Steam. Then again, are they going to be willing to give up that enormous player base? So this is a change that'll be coming, and it'll be interesting to see how it plays out. Then there's this article from PC Gamer, published on Thursday, 21 November, that reads, Unknown 9 Awakening Studio makes major layoffs just a month after the game's release. Now, Reflector Entertainment was the developer of Unknown 9. It's a similar situation to Concord over at Sony, where Sony gobbled up Firewalk Studios to get Concord, which then crashed. Bandai Namco, from what I understand, specifically bought Reflector Entertainment so they could have Unknown 9 Awakening, and they had a whole multimedia empire around this IP planned. Unfortunately, Unknown 9, I've seen guesstimates that it sold about 50,000 copies. Now, Reflector being a AA studio, their budget was probably not, the hundreds of millions of dollars, but it was probably in the tens of millions of dollars, and it could not have done well. Player counts are abysmal. The reception has generally been bad. But the kicker here is Reflector says the layoffs were not driven by commercial success or external pressures. Do I need to say it? In any event, this doesn't look great for Reflector, and it doesn't bode well for their future. And I think I'll leave it right there for the week. 7 days of gaming news, the most important stories, in less than 7 minutes. If you enjoyed this content, please consider liking the video, subscribing to the channel, leave a comment down below, tell me what you liked or didn't like. I appreciate it all. In the meantime, I'm going to get back to it. You all go out and live your best life, and you all stay gaming.